Shalom, shalom. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akakwadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom unto the elect. So get into a lesson, quick hit. All right, in transit, I'm going to just quote some scriptures off top. Lord's will, this is edifying, but we're going to get into it, right into it. I was this sparked off having a conversation with some brothers about how big, the universe really is. The massive, it's beyond comprehension. Esau tried to put a number on it with light years and different things. How do you even measure a light year? How do you measure the distance from one planet to another? All right, you don't even have a vehicle that can go as fast as light. See, but you know who does? The Heavenly Father and his son Yahweh Shai. All right, with them chariots, the chariots of fire, which the scriptures talks about, which you got a lot of hucksters out there now that are talking about spaceships, UFOs in the Bible, using the talking point that the Lord is an extraterrestrial, which is true, but they don't have the 100% understanding of it. So, the Lord said, "What? I am from above, ye are from beneath." Okay, so the things of this world, man, the things of this current setup is all fictitious and it's all temporary, man. It's all false. Okay. This road that I'm driving on right now, this car that I'm driving in, this is going to be soon known as the old world. The world before Yahweh Shai and the sons of God, the Israelites, took over again. This is all a temporary thing. All right. The scriptures mentions too. What? That the sufferings are not comparable. All right. The sufferings of this life, paraphrasing it, are not comparable to the glory that is to come. All right. So, all of this that we see around us, man, is going to fade away soon. Matter of fact, I think I just so happen to have this sword right here, and I'm at a light. So Second Corinthians 4:17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. You see, and eternal means what? Something that never ends, infinite, infinity. Okay, an eternal weight of glory is coming. Okay, a light affliction. You see, even like you have your ups and your downs in this thing, and you have following the Lord, being in this wicked world. It's a burden, because this is a blessing and it's a burden that we are grateful to even carry. But it is a burden because you have to look around and see things upside down and not be able to do anything about it. We're powerless to do anything about it right now. But we know that our power comes in our patience and our power comes in our obedience. So it's a spiritual fight. All right. So there's no way that we can possibly take this kingdom down through a carnal means. Okay. So the best thing to do is to stay locked in, to prophesy, to build with the brothers, and to focus on what's most important. Because all this shit that we're seeing around us is getting ready to fade away. Okay? It's temporary. Okay? It's a temporary life. Okay? It's a temporary, whatever you can get from this world is a temporary blessing. Okay? So don't focus on it. It's around us. It's there. But be here, but don't be here. Be here, but have a heavenly mindset. Have your mind in the heavens. Have your mind with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, because that's where all of the good blessings and everything that we need is with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. These wicked people of this world that look down on us for serving the Lord, that look down on us because we proclaim that we're the sons of God. They don't look down on the small hat for saying that he's chosen. Everybody accepts it. You know why? Because they're the ones in the power seat. Once you got power, man, everything else pretty much falls in line. You see, and they have the left hand power and the carnal blessing. The Lord blessed Esau with what? The sword. So they have that temporary blessing, and the people of the world, they follow after them. So if they say, yeah, they're the Jew, they're the chosen, everybody will say, well, they're in power, you know. But you got to look and say, who are you not allowed to speak against? Obviously, it's the small hat, or you'll be labeled anti-Sem if you speak against the so-called JEW, right? The JEW, the U, right? So-called Jewish people. Speak against them, you're liable to lose it all. Why are you not allowed to criticize them for anything they do? They have some terrible, decrepit, abominable practices. You know, they circumcise children. Some of those Edomite rabbis, they circumcise children with their mouth, and they suck the blood out. That's nowhere in the Bible. Anybody with any type of sense, even people that don't aim in this truth, to see that that's wrong. But when they pop up and say they're the chosen, everybody accepts it. Why? Because they have that power. They have the power to take things away from you. They have the power to give you some kind of blessing. It's a small temporary blessing, we know that. But that's why these jakes, they go into Hollywood, man. They end up on CNN, or they end up in the newscaster, or they end up an actor, football, whatever. And you can't speak out against those people, the small hats, man. Or you're liable to lose it all. Okay? We not able to go and proclaim that we're the Israelites. We can't go to work and say we're the Israelites. They can go to work, they can go wherever and say they're the JEW, and nobody bats an eye. And meanwhile, the earth is suffering. All right, you know, you can't have it all. They want to play the victim, but you're the one in the power seat. You know, but they want to play the victim. But were you in the power seat, the earth is being destroyed. You see? The earth is being destroyed, polluted under their direction, under their rulership. But then they want to play the victim. So somehow they have the power to bomb all these countries. You have the biggest empire. You're puffing out your chest against those Arabs, okay, and Iran, which is the Elamites, all right, and all these other countries. You puffing out your chest, but then you want to play the victim card, you know. But that's Esau. See? But the point being that all of that they have is temporary. And the only reason people follow and believe them is because they have the power. Once the power comes, it's going to be, once the Lord gives us that power, man, it's going to be on and popping. It's going to be over with. All right. First of all, these women, they already want us more than all the other nations anyways, man. They want to get with a Jake, man. Even when you walk into certain establishments, you see the eyes, you know, brothers see the eyes on you. It's spiritual, you know? All right. And when that power comes, it's going to be even more so. But we in the early stages of that, man. We're in the early stages of that because the Lord has given us spiritual power by giving us the foresight. You know, you have certain X-Men and superheroes, their power was like a psychic power. Well, that's something like what the Lord has given us, the power of discernment to discern between good and evil. That's like a form of spiritual power where you get a feeling about a situation and you just know how to move. That's like having a spidey sense. The Lord gave us that. That's a form. We have a low level. Really, it ain't low level, but I'm saying compared to what we're gonna have, it is a form of spiritual power. All right. So that's why you might have eyes looking at you when you go into establishment, people are like time stops, you know, like everybody pauses and then they go back to their life because there's a special spirit the Lord gave us, man. But when that day comes, when the Lord actually gives us that power, man, what does the scripture say? Psalms. Let me get it in Psalms. Psalms 110. Psalms 110:3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast to do of thy youth. Okay, so that youthful glow, you know, we're gonna have it again. And Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you know, the elect, you know, elect of his people, they're gonna be willing in the day of his power. They're gonna see it, man. When that day comes, they're gonna, you know, it's gonna all coincide with Jacob's trouble because the Lord isn't just gonna give us spiritual power now, because we're not in Jacob's trouble yet. It's not a necessity of the power. But when things pop off, man, when things get hectic in this world, man, it's gonna go down. Okay, it's gonna go down big time. And it's gonna be a time like no other, and there's gonna be a need for the power to come, for the power to come. Okay, what does it say here? And Zechariah 12:8, it says, "In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel, Look, about to be at another red light, so I might as well wait a second. Oh, yeah. Turn green, of course. But yeah, as the angel of Yahweh before them. I remember it off the top anyways. But as the angel of Yahweh before them, who's the angel? Yahweh Shai. The sons of God. 1 John, I think it's the 3rd chapter. All right. As many as believe in him, right? I think that's in John. He gave them power to be the sons of God. Why is it such a big deal when we come up and say we're Israelites? That's what it means to follow Yahweh B'Ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Those that will follow him will call the sons of God, because this truth, this doctrine, this kingdom, this power that's coming is for the sons of God. It's for the Israelites. Okay. But the minute we pop up and say that, everybody has a problem with it, because we're in a powerless position. How dare you peasants on the bottom, who've always been on the bottom, and the nations hate us and envy us. So, they would rather us be on the bottom, and they could go and run their fucking show with Esau, man. Dealing with you Edomites, all right, dealing with so-called white man, you Ishmaelites, so-called Arabs, all right, Moabites, so-called Chinese, Ammonites, so-called Japanese, all right, all these other nations, man, you East Indians, you Elamites, all right, they all despise us, man, because we're better than them. Okay, thus saith the Bible. The Israelites are above all people, and people get offended because they're looking at it like, well, you can't have it all. You're already better than everybody, so you got to be on the bottom and fight your way up, and we got to level the playing field by keeping you niggas on the bottom. You see? Because imagine how overstacked the odds gonna be in our favor when the Lord gives us power. We're already better than them. Even in our lowest state, we're already better than you, heathens. So imagine when Yahweh B'Ashem Yahweh Shai puts us back in our heavenly estate once again, man. It's gonna be no contest, man. There's no competition. We already produce the best music, the best athletes, the best minds, man. Even though they be on the left hand, a lot of the great inventions Jay came up with. All these nations, they women love us, man. You see? Everybody want to be like us, man. You see? What would the world be without Israelites, man? It would be whack. It wouldn't be a world that you want to live in. Okay, because you used us to build up America, Babylon the Great, and this became the nation that they used us to build up became the greatest nation. That ain't a coincidence. That's what the ancient Babylonians did too, man. They took the elites of Judah, of the southern kingdom, of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? They took the elites and they used them to build up their kingdom. If we would just ain't shit and just, shit on us and kill us all, that would mean that we were worthless, but in their eyes, but we're not. They see that we have a value. That's why they took our great men and made them to serve under their kings, man. Okay, when they needed interpretation of a dream, man, Daniel, the one that was highly favored, that was beloved, with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But the second you pop up and you actually serve the Lord, that's when it's a problem. You see? Because it was all good, but once heathens were doing, You know, they didn't want to bow. You know, he kept praying to the Lord. They did things that was showing their obedience and allegiance to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's when the heathen back then had a problem with it. The same thing now. They love a good obedient nigga, you know, that's obedient to them. You got a lot of jakes that they're able to move up in the society because they're deemed as harmless to the order. Oh, we can use you. We can use you to push more of our oppression. Matter of fact, we're going to give you money, right? And then when people look and say, damn, well, they can look and say, well, look, one of you niggas got money. What happened with the rest of y'all? Well, he was the biggest coon and sellout out of all of us. And you used him to you know, you roll them out to say, well, look, see, it is fair for you niggas. And they'll use that one coon that they blessed up. And he's over here puffing his chest out because he thinks he got it off of his own merit, which, you know, Jake does have talents to use them, but you got to have a certain type of sellout spirit to make it in this world, man. That's just the facts. You got to have a booty face, clean shave. You can't have an opinion on, or you can't have a sense of masculinity. You know, you got to be soft and effeminate. You got to be real, you know, like you can't be a serious, austere man that doesn't play no games, because then you're automatically a threat. You see? I'm gonna grab this though, because this is what's coming, man. Once the power comes, and that's what's going to be eternal. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and the power he's going to give us. Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua shall lift up a standard against them. Right. So the standard coming is associated with the fear of the earth. So of course the Lord is going to give the power to on his name, Yahweh and Yahweh. Give that power unto those that are calling upon him. You calling now, that would discredit the Lord's glory, and because who's gonna get the power? The ones that have been praising his name, because he's the one that gives the power. That power is coming, and we got to focus on, which is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Everything around us, this is all temporary, man. You know, you might get a blessing. The Lord might throw you some bread. You know, you might get a little piece of cat here and there, whatever. As long as she ain't got a man, you're good to go. All right. But you know, you got to use wisdom with that too. You know, you got to use discernment. Just because it's there don't mean you should take it. But you know, all of these things is gonna fade away, man. You know, what good is it to focus on these things temporary, all these whores of Babylon and the money, which is all paper and fiat and fake. This is all fraudulent, man. It's all, you know, like the movie The Matrix, man. This is all the Matrix, man. The dude that sold him out, he was eating a steak and he said, I know this ain't real, but it's delicious. And that's how this society is, man. You know that it ain't real, but it feels good to your flesh. It feels good. It makes you feel a certain type of way. You can have a sense of you being the man in this society, right? You just gotta do some selling out, you know, compromise yourself, and just bury it in the back of your conscience, so you don't have to think about the fact that you compromise yourself. And then you can have your 15 minutes to be the man. But what ends up happening with all these jakes? Look at what's his name. Smokey Robinson just got hit with a 50 million lawsuit. Shannon Sharp, you know, all you jakes that think you got away, the Lord is lining you up anyways, man. There's nothing in this bitch lasts, man. All the fake money, all the bullshit, man. We want an eternal kingdom. We're not settling for reparations. We're not settling for a pat on the back. You know, nigga day. Here's your day to celebrate niggas. Nigga day. That's what they give you. And Jake loves it. Jake defends those things, man. You know, with all their heart, man, with all their soul. This is my day. But yeah, Esau gave it to you. You know, it's all bullshit. You know, this old nigga driving in a hoopty going 5 miles an hour. God damn. But that's Jake, man. Anyways, that's a symbol of you, Jake. You ain't going nowhere. You know, in this kingdom, running in place. So the Lord opened our mind to see that there is something greater that's coming, man. Something far greater. Something that's worthwhile, man. So, you know, you can't go. How can you go back to the rudiments of this world knowing that eternity is being laid out before us, man? Clean water, clean food, the power, man. Because it's really all about the power that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, which is righteousness. With the righteousness comes that power. You see? That's how the Lord works, man. Which our righteousness is likened unto filthy rags, but yet nonetheless, you know, the Lord is looking upon the little, even the little that a little goes a long way with the Lord. So the little that we do in this wicked world, you know, we put up our best effort. Ultimately, it's all up to the grace and the faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. But the Lord is pleased with the little that we put forth because the Lord knows how hard it is for us in the society, man, because it's all set up to come against us. You see, and that's why, you know, he's gonna give it because of his it was promised, his faith, his everlasting mercy, but also, you know, he's gonna give it because there's been a righteous sacrifice that's been going forth. You see, even though we have our flaws, we have our you know, shortcomings and things of that nature, the Lord is gonna bless those that have presented themselves as a living sacrifice. And with that power that the Lord is going to give, everything else is going to come surrounding that, man. Time won't be a matter for us. We won't have to be looking over our shoulder to think, oh, am I going to get robbed? You know, is this Jake plotting on me? You know, all your wives will be virgins, man, pure, pristine, and clean. You'll never have to worry about them betraying you, turning their back on you, stepping out on you ever again. All right, the air is going to be fresh. The whole earth is going to be refreshed, man. All right, it's going to be like going back to when the earth was first created, man. The Lord is going to refresh everything, man. But even better, it's going to be even upgraded this time around. All right. Everything is going to be pristine. Everything's going to be clean water, new fruits and vegetables that we never even heard of. You know, different types of things we can explore. That's just the name of few. All right. There's so many things awaiting us, man. And the scripture says that the Lord's throne is inestimable. You see, we're gonna be able to explore the cosmos, man. Esau tried to put a measurement on it on the universe. The universe is infinite, man, because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is infinite. He dwells in eternity, man. You can't put a number on the universe. Oh, it's this many light years, and you haven't even traveled a fraction of a light year. You want to talk about the universe is 90 billion or however many 100 billion light years. You can't even wrap your mind around these type of numbers, man. But the Lord is going to give all that to us and more for serving his holy name, man. There is a reward for what we're doing, and we can't lose sight of that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I think I'm going into a dead zone anyway. So all praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem HaKakwadash. Focus on eternity. Focus on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And focus on this truth, because truth is going to outlast everything, right? The Spirit of the Lord is going to outlast everything. All right, all this bullshit around us is going to fade away, and that day is coming real soon. All right, so Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem HaKakwadash.